everything go?
Well, long story short, we ran into a small issue. Clairvy can't go into the sunlight.
Que voulez-vous dire?
Everything was fine at first. She followed me up to the surface just like I told her. But as I led her out of the shadows and into the sunlight, she vanished. I turned around and there she was, standing at the edge of the shadows, silently watching me.
Huh. Maybe she's afraid of sunlight, or... No, it wouldn't be her wish if that were the case. Well, we could always try pushing her into it.
Je crois pas que ça marche avec les fantômes.
Oh, true.
I've pretty much tried it all already. Nothing worked. Eventually, the sun went down, so all I could do was bring her back here. How did it go with you, Lynette?
Good. I've got the list. It's right here.
Really? Well, what are we waiting for? Let's take a look! Oh, that's a lot of pages. Oh, it's gonna take forever to get through it all.
We can each take a section. Here.
La Pouillade, l'endroit, Chambel, horaire.
Lui, c'est des exécutions. Ok.
Oh, yikes. That horaire guy has a huge scar on his face. He's kinda giving Paimon the creeps.
Ah, I've met him before. The scar is from an injury he received during a mission. I still remember him joking with me about it. He said any future lover would take one look at him and then lose all interest.
Did he say anything else?
Well, I asked if there was someone he was interested in. He said no, and that's where our conversation ended. It was only later that I learned he really did have someone he liked. He risked everything to escape so he could be with her, but it didn't work. One day, Father asked to see him, and, well, I never saw him again after that.
Wait, so that means the knave, she...
It may seem cruel, but it's just one of the rules of the house. Betrayal is not to be taken lightly. We know too many secrets to come and go as we please. So, if you do try to leave, you pay with your life.
Regardez la liste avec un cœur lourd sans retrouver le nom de Clairvy.
Her name's not here, huh? Well, that's not too surprising. It doesn't seem like this list is complete. It only contains records dating back around 5 years. Let's shift our attention then. Fremine, were you able to find anything out? Fremine.
Sorry. I was thinking about something. I managed to talk to quite a few people, but I couldn't help but notice that the atmosphere in the house was a little... strange.
Strange.
Yeah, I mean, I know there have been arguments in the past, times when people haven't gotten along. Chaplot and Filiol are a good example of that.
Oh, those are two of the people that we met while delivering supplies. Paimon can see how they might not get along. They had very different vibes, and their, interests seem to be pretty different as well.
That's to be expected, actually. Father brought us all here, shared her knowledge with us, taught us how to fight. That's one thing we all share. But that's also where the similarities end. Not all of us feel the same desire to stay here. As members of the House of the Hearth, we're also considered part of the Fatui. And to a lot of people, that's an identity they never asked for. Certain members get older and realize they want something else for themselves. But considering the rules of the house, most people would never say that out loud. People like Chaplot and Foltz are loyal to Father and her vision. They're proud to be part of the Fatui. Filial and Nantoy, on the other hand, well, they aren't quite as enthusiastic.
These kinds of conflicts have always been there. It's not like Father is in the dark about any of this.
Well, that's true. But it just feels like things have gotten worse lately. Filial and the others, it seemed like they were meeting in secret to talk about something. I can't say for sure, but I think they've met Clairvy.
You think she's been inciting them to act out?
No, not exactly. But I wouldn't be surprised if she said something to them about the darkness in the house and how deep it runs. She's told me about it before. Experiments being run on children. People being used as pawns on the battlefield without so much as the strength to survive.
And they just believed all that? Without any evidence?
Clairvy's words probably gave them the excuse they were looking for. Whether they actually believe them to be true is secondary.
This is all because of Project Stuja, isn't it?
Whoa. Hold on a second. What's this Project Stuja all about, huh? This is the second time it's come up now.
Sorry, but I'm not sure of the details either. I only know what Father has told us, which is that it's something the Rooster and Regrader have been working on together. Apparently, it has to do with the Fatui's strategic plan for the future. Because the House of the Hearth was so successful in obtaining the Gnosis, we now have the honor of playing a key role in Project Stuja.
Wait, but isn't that a good thing?
Key role is just another way of saying dangerous role. To us, the whole thing is an inconvenience. Father thinks so too, but she's in no position to refuse. Their plan isn't exactly unreasonable, and they've been funneling the house a lot of funding. It's just that we'll lose a lot of members in the process. Participating in the plan, it's an honor in name only. What they're really trying to do is subdue us. The existence of an intelligence organization outside their control makes them feel uneasy.
Donc les Fatui sont en train de préparer un gros coup, mais je ne vais pas arriver à en savoir plus. Les autres n'ont pas l'air très avancés sur le sujet non plus. Je vais rester attentive la prochaine fois que j'ai affaire à eux.
Okay, super complicated top secret Fatui business aside, what does all of this have to do with the conflicts you were talking about earlier? Paimon doesn't get the connection.
External pressure has a way of exacerbating internal strife. You can't overlook the power of fear either. People are afraid of dying, and that fear is often the impetus for a lot of stupid decisions. I thought resolving the Clairvy situation would make everything go back to normal. But it looks like things are more complicated than I thought. If we leave Filial and the others to their own devices, sooner or later, Father will be forced to take action.
We can only focus on one situation at a time, brother.
You're right. Even if we confront Filial and the others, it won't do any good. It might even make matters worse. We should focus on Clairvy for now. Well, it's getting late. We should head back and get some rest. We'll try again first thing tomorrow. Lynette, you stick with me this time. Fremine, keep a close eye on Filial and the others. Make sure they don't do anything they'll regret. Good work today, everyone. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Passe de ces choses. Hein. Soit de penser au travers de cet esprit, vous essayez de dormir.
Oh, I'm always looking forward to an early night, but she can't sleep at all. Hey, you don't think the knave will be too angry with Lyney and everyone if she finds out about all this, do you? She's even scary when she smiles. If she were to actually get angry... Ooh, you have have to protect Paimon if that happens, okay, Traveler?
Bon. Moi aussi, j'ai peur d'elle.
Oh, well, in that case, we should just plan on running away. We'll grab Lyney and the others and we can make a break for it as fast as we can. Look! Look over there!
Clairvy?
Quick, let's catch up with her before anyone sees.
Bon. Rendez-vous sur la brise marine.
Over there! Oh, where is she going? Oh, if someone sees her, we're toast!
Aïe aïe aïe. C'est toujours nuit?
Oh, look! She stopped!
Il fait nuit?
Clairvy!
Shh. I opened the window while no one was looking. Look how pretty the outside is.
La fenêtre?
If only I could have more than this. You probably think I'm being silly, huh? All this hopeless resisting. It's better to dream of what I could have than try to make it a reality, right?
Please, help us get on the same page here, Clairvy. We need you to tell us what you know. Can you do
Sure. Although, after you hear all this, I think you might regret that decision. Everyone in this family is nothing more than a tool, something to be used and exploited. We're all expendable, including me. As long as you're useful, you get to stick around. Lose your value, and you're handed over to the doctor, experimented on, and given a fate worse than death. I've seen it happen again and again, and I've had enough.
You're saying the knave did all that? It's just, that doesn't seem like something she would do. She's scary and all, but it seems like even she has lines she wouldn't cross.
I knew you wouldn't believe me. Everyone thinks she's a good person. They all think of her like a real mother.
Mother?
But she doesn't deserve that title. She's disgraced it and tarnished it. And if I had things my way, I'd never see her again. If only Perry were here, she'd understand.
Perry. There's that name again. Also, Paimon's getting a strange feeling. It almost feels like she's not really here with us. Paimon can't tell if she's actually talking to us or if she's mistaken us for someone else.
C'est un esprit, on peut pas savoir, Paimon.
Well, in any case, it seems like she really needs someone to talk to. We should keep her company for a little longer. She looks so young, but it seems like she's been through a lot.
It's getting windy. I should close the window. Ooh, look at the moon. Isn't it pretty? Hey, wanna hear a secret? I heard that if you look up at the night sky in Snezhnaya, you can see the aurora. It's supposed to be super pretty. Even prettier than the moon tonight.
J'aimerais bien voir ça.
Perry and I promised each other that once we're older, we're gonna go see it together. But I can't find her. I'm worried she's also been... No, that wouldn't happen to her. She's special. Mother likes her a lot. I should really go talk to Mother, but we just fought. She doesn't want to see me, and I I'm too scared to face her. What should I do?
À un moment, Clairvy reprend ses esprits, sourit faiblement avant de partir.
Paimon really doesn't understand what's going on with her. Well, let's head back. We've got an early morning tomorrow.
La nuit passe.
All right, looks like we're all here. Let's go ahead with the plan.
J'ai une question.
Oh? What is it?
Arlecchino a déjà travaillé avec Dottore.
What makes you ask that?
Well, we kinda ran into Clairvy last night, and that's what she told us. We met the doctor back in Sumeru. He's super dangerous, and he's done all sorts of bad things.
It's possible that Father and the Doctor have had certain dealings, but I don't think Father would work with him. We're not really on the same side, so there's not a lot of trust between them. That doesn't exactly set the stage for a successful partnership. I did hear, though, that when Father first became a Harbinger, the Doctor offered to work with the House of the Hearth. Father rejected most of his proposals, except for one. It had to do with some sort of secret experiment.
Secret experiment? Could that be what Clairvy was talking about?
I don't think so.
I don't know any details about the experiment itself, but I do know it's an entirely independent operation. The Doctor only proposed a direction for the research. That was the extent of his involvement. I still don't think that counts as working together. The details of the experiment are confidential, but complete records are kept on all participants. That doesn't seem to be the case with the situation Clairvy referred to. I know you don't agree with some of the Fatui's methods, and I'm not asking you to. But I am asking you to trust us on this. The House of the Hearth has its own principles. There are certain lines we're not willing to cross.
Alright, that's good to hear at least. Clairvy seems to think the Knave and the Doctor worked together to do something horrible. If that turned out to be true, Paimon doesn't know how he would even face you guys. It's just that it doesn't seem like Clairvy is lying either. The easiest thing to do would be just ask the Knave directly, but Paimon doesn't think she'd tell us.
Concentrons-nous sur le plan pour l'instant.
Father didn't come back last night. She's probably still near the shore. We'll be counting on you to distract her. Lynette, you're with me. Fremine, you know what to do. All right, let's get to it.
Bon.
Where are we going today?
Let's try somewhere further away this time.
Continuons de chercher Arlecchino sur le bord de mer. Oh, Clairvy est là. Bonjour Clairvy. Je peux rien à lui dire.
It's raining. I should put my clothes away.
Bon, Clairvy ne fait rien. Hop là. Petite ellipse. Retournons donc à nos moutons. Plutôt à notre vallée. Bon, finalement, elle aurait été là pendant 2 jours, hein, alors qu'elle a du travail. Bon, elle est probablement en train de réfléchir, on va faire des plans. Mais bon, on va commencer à être suspect. C'est pas quelqu'un qu'on peut berner aussi facilement.
Ah, it's you two again. I must say, you look a bit pale. Did you have trouble sleeping last night?
A little.
Perhaps if you had less on your mind, you'd be able to absolve yourself of such troubles. So what are you planning to do now? Catch up on some sleep? Or should I give you some time to rack your brain for a topic to discuss before I ask any questions? Although I must profess to being curious. Without child here, how do you plan on distracting me?
Bon, c'était obvious. Bon, pas tellement, mais c'était prêt. Ça aurait été trop dingue si ça pouvait continuer à marcher.
Us? Distract you? Good one. But no, we were just here for a chat.
Looks like you could have used some extra time to think. No matter. If you don't have any other plans, why don't you accompany me somewhere? Don't worry. I'll be sure to steer clear of any scheming children.
The ocean breeze is sure nice today.
Vous êtes au courant?
Children always think they can hide things from the grown-ups. But nothing gets past me. Least of all a little scheming. I think I'll let them have at it for a little longer. I can be very patient. Well, I'll leave you to think things over. If you're so inclined, meet me outside the Palais Mermonia. Good things come to children who do as they're told. So I do hope you decide to tag along. If
What should we do? She clearly knows about everything we've been doing, and Paimon doesn't think it'd be a stretch to say she was threatening us just now.
Libérons l'oiseau que Lyney nous a donné.
Oh, good idea. Hopefully he sees it in time. Well, we should probably head to the Palais Mermonia. Paimon doesn't want to find out what happens if we don't show up. Based on what the knave was saying just now, it sure didn't seem like it'd be anything good.
On verra comment ça se passe.
Okay, then we probably shouldn't keep her waiting. It seems like Lyney and the others are on thin ice, so let's do our best to not get them in any more trouble.
Ou les autres. Désolé, j'ai tapé le micro. Le Palais Mermonia. Très bien. Allons donc au Palais Mermonia. Voyons voir ce qui s'y passe. Intéressant. Bon. Intéressant. Que va-t-il se passer? Je crois que j'ai quelques idées, mais on va garder ça pour nous, pour l'instant.
Seeing as we still have some time before my meeting, we might as well enjoy some pleasant conversation while we wait. I'm glad to see you get along with my children. Being surrounded by good companions is necessary for a child's development.
You're not planning on doing anything to them, are you?
I assume you're referring to Lyney, Lynette, and Fremine. Although, there's that situation with Filial and Nentoy as well. It appears quite a few people have been acting out lately. No matter. I'm not one to discriminate. All those who betray the house meet the same fate. There are no exceptions.
Does that mean you're going to kill them?
Oh, are you here to beg for their lives? I'm sorry to disappoint, but the rules of the house change for no one. In my organization, everyone is responsible for their own actions.
But don't you care about them at all? They really respect you. They even call you father. You must feel something for them.
Any organization in which feelings come before principles is one destined for ruin. The House of the Hearth is hardly an exception. You could say our principles are more stringent than most. Perhaps I can offer you this consolation at least. As our guests, you two will not be held accountable along with them.
Il n'y a pas d'autre solution?
I would imagine Lyney, Lynette, and Fremine will be able to keep their lives. As for Filion and Toy and the others, I'm afraid there's little I can do. They can try to escape, but once you know our secrets, there's no getting out alive.
But that's awful.
Ah, you seem concerned. Out of consideration for my guests, I suppose I could turn a blind eye for a little longer. If Lyney and the others manage to dispose of Clairvy in the meantime, all evidence of their wrongdoing will be lost. In that case, I could hardly punish them for something I couldn't prove. If their efforts are unsuccessful, on the other hand, all will be held accountable. And the punishment will be severe.
J'espère que vous tiendrez parole.
Of course. Oh, and here. I believe this belongs to you. Do try and keep better track of it next time.
Ah là là, le petit piaf.
It takes a considerable amount of time to train a bird like this. It would be such a pity if you were to lose it. Permanent.
Wait, where did you get that?
Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have to chat. Now, for the matter at hand. I asked you to meet me here because I have business at the Palais Mermonia. It has nothing to do with you, but I think it would be prudent for you to stick by my side for the time being. There will always be time later to run off and tell Lyney what you've learned. Well, time to go. Looks like we wrapped things up just in time.
Accompagner Arlecchino pour terminer les négociations. Est-ce qu'on va avoir Neuvillette? C'est très curieux. En tout cas, Arlecchino nous montre clairement qu'elle a le contrôle de la situation. On est dans le creux de sa main. Littéralement. Enfin, les autres surtout. Allez. En tout cas, tout ceci ne va pas dans le bon. Pour l'instant. Pour l'instant, Arlecchino joue le jeu. Elle est conciliante pour l'instant. Je pense que tout le monde ne serait pas forcément du même avis, mais... Bon, si elle avait vraiment voulu ne laisser aucune chance, elle le pourrait facilement. Hmm. Je me demande combien de temps cette quête va encore durer. On est proche bientôt des 2 heures. Et c'est le bureau de Neuvillette. Là, nous avons quelques lags. Effectivement, Neuvillette est là.
It's been a while, Monsieur Neuvillette. I must say, I wasn't expecting my meeting request to be approved quite so quickly. The Palais Mermonia operates with an efficiency worthy of admiration.
It is only right that an esteemed diplomat such as yourself should be afforded the proper level of respect. Although, if I may speak plainly, I must confess that I did not anticipate we would have the occasion to meet again after presenting you with the Gnosis. I see you brought the Traveler and Paimon with you as well. If I may inquire as to the purpose of your visit.
I'll be departing Fontaine shortly. There is, however, an outstanding matter that I would like to see resolved before I go. It requires a rather lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. So I took the liberty of explaining everything in this proposal. Please review it at your leisure, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Attention, il a coupé au couteau. Quoi s'agit-il?
I understand your request. However, at the risk of causing offense, I must admit that I fail to see why you would wish for such a thing.
I heard you have a certain fondness for water tasting, Monsieur Neuvillette, so allow me to use water as an analogy. A family is like a large body of water with countless rivers flowing in and out. As someone who watches over this system, I would hope that each river that flows from the source will eventually reach the ocean. Of course, objectively speaking, I know this is impossible. Most of the rivers will dry up along the way, disappearing into the ground and leaving nothing but a barren riverbed behind. Not all rivers are destined to reach the ocean, but I would not see their existence rendered meaningless. I believe the water that flows within them is simply meant for a different destination, like a field in need of irrigation, or perhaps the glass of a certain water-tasting enthusiast.
Did you get any of that, Traveler?
À moitié.
Your words paint an optimistic picture indeed. Allow me to remind you, however, few among us are willing to sip from a glass filled with tainted water.
It may have been tainted at one point in time, but not to worry. I'll make sure it's strained of all impurities and returned to its cleanest form.
I seem to recall there being a transactional aspect to your proposal. Perhaps you could expound on that?
If you accept my proposal, Monsieur Neuvillette, I will gradually withdraw my forces from Fontaine. And, unless absolutely necessary, I will no longer carry out any special missions within Fontaine.
I presume I can take your words to mean that, in the future, cases similar to the Tartuffe assassination will cease to cross my desk?
Tartuffe? Ah, that thief who embezzled funds from all those charities, you mean? My deepest condolences to his family, but without any evidence, I cannot imagine how the House of the Hearth might have been involved in his passing. Of course, if you accept my proposal, Monsieur Neuvillette, I'm sure certain measures could be taken to reduce the frequency of such troubles.
You choose your words carefully indeed. In that case, I am inclined to accept your proposal.
My thanks for your generosity, Monsieur Neuvillette. Well, with that settled, we should be going now. I took the liberty of bringing along 2 bottles of spring water from Snezhnaya for you to enjoy. I do hope I get the chance to hear your impressions. Perhaps at our next meeting, yes?
Indeed. I trust you would not overlook your commitment in the meantime.
All right, Traveler Paimon. Time to go.
Ok. Bon. Donc évidemment, on ne sait... Le deal... Donc elle nous a pas dit quel était le deal. Ah, Neuvillette est là. Allons lui parler. Tant qu'on peut.
I believe I've told you before that my emotions easily resonate with those of others. Yet in the few meetings I've had with that Harbinger, I haven't been able to sense any aspect of her emotional state. Her mind is like a still body of water. Who knows what darkness lies in its depths, and the lack of ripples on the surface gives nothing away. It's unclear whether this is her natural state of being, or whether it's an incredible strength of will that gives her the ability to master her emotions. Either scenario, however, suggests she is a very dangerous individual. I do not expect an explanation as to why you two are by her side. Whatever your reasoning, I would only advise you to take caution.
Il fait bien, il fait bien. Bon. Tant qu'on y est. Non, on peut juste s'asseoir dans son trône. Mais pas savoir de quoi il s'agit. Ok, donc Arlecchino a pris extrêmement de précautions pour qu'on sache pas. Donc elle a parlé de famille. Est-ce qu'elle veut laisser à Neuvillette certains membres de la famille, du foyer de l'âtre? C'est très curieux. Très curieux. Ok, il faut juste qu'on sorte. Mais en échange, elle a même promis que de quitter, de retirer ses forces de fontaine. Ce n'est pas rien. Là, j'ai vu une petite cinématique avec le gars qui s'appelait Tartuffe, qui est mort. C'était très intéressant. Bon, c'était la cinématique d'Arlecchino, hein, évidemment. Allez voir sur la chaîne YouTube de GENSHINimpact. C'est un des rares trucs que j'ai regardé. Curiosité m'a emporté. Désolé. Généralement, je regarde pas tout ça, comme je ne regarde jamais les programmes spéciaux, ni même les vidéos, hein, qu'il y a, les rediffs. Hein. Jamais.
So, what exactly were you talking about back there? Paimon only heard you mention some rivers, a large body of water, and then some kind of irrigation scheme.
You really want to know? I would imagine there might be more pressing concerns at the moment.
Lyney, Paimon really hopes everything's going okay. Oh, Paimon recognizes that look. You've got your thinking cap on, don't you, Traveler?
Arlecchino semblait détendu, mais elle ne plaisantait pas tout à l'heure. Les enfants qui la trahiront seront tués. Comment l'arrêter? Non, il y a autre chose dont on doit s'occuper d'abord. Dans notre conversation devant le palais mammonial, elle a parlé de Clairvy. Celle de qui il s'agit depuis le début? Peut-être qu'elle a deviné les actions de Lyney et des autres.
Oh, shoot. Are you alright? Oh, jeez. I'm so sorry. I was so focused on selling these papers, I wasn't looking where I was going.
Ah mais c'est l'un des gars qui a disparu, non? Celui avec... C'est Horreur, non? Celui qui a été exécuté? Désolé. Je n'ai pas fait attention non plus.
Well, let me make it up to you at least. Here, take this paper. On the house.
On l'a déjà vu quelque part.
Oh, you don't have to give us anything.
Please, I want to. It's not like I'm short on supply. All the extras will be useless come tomorrow anyway. It's my fault, really. I was just trying to bring home some extra mora for the family, but I bit off more than I can chew. I haven't had many takers today, so I'm still swimming in papers.
What's going on here?
Nothing much. I just ran into your friend here on accident. I should probably get going, actually, so...
Hold on.
Of course, I'm happy to compensate you with mora, it's just... I don't have any on me at the moment.
I'll take 3 papers. Here. Your payment.
Oh! Thank you for your patronage. May the Archons bless you with good fortune. If only I had the chance to run into such generous customers every day. I should probably just take on a smaller inventory though, right? I'm getting married soon, so sometimes it's hard to not get ahead of myself. Anyway, I should head out. Goodbye!
Well, now that my affairs are settled, we should take the boat back to Poisson. We've even acquired some light reading to enjoy along the way.
Actually, why don't we stick around for a little longer? Paimon just realized how hungry she is. She can't head back to Poisson on an empty stomach.
Paimon essaie de nous faire de gagner du temps. Si nous rentrons maintenant, je doute que Lyney et les autres ont eu le temps de faire quoi que ce soit. Que
It
faire?
appears you two are under the impression that delaying our return will somehow alter the situation in your favor. I'm sorry to ruin your fantasy, but your efforts are meaningless. That being said, I could be persuaded to give Lyney some extra time. I just have... If you agree to my request, I'll even answer some of your questions. You're quite curious about Clairvy, are you not? And my relationship to her.
Wait, why are you being so generous all of a sudden? You're not gonna ask us to do something bad, are you?
You overestimate yourself. You don't have the talent for bad things.
Then what do you possibly...
The most important consideration in a negotiation is that both sides receive something they want. Demands and threats only get you so far.
Dites-nous ce que vous voulez.
Wonderful. Here it is. When the time comes, make the choice that you deem most appropriate in the situation, and lend your help to the House of the Hearth.
Okay, sounds normal enough. But what do you mean, when the time comes? When is that supposed to be?
That is for you to decide.
Nous acceptons votre condition.
Then we have a deal. Follow me.
Elle est rusée. Elle est en train de préparer un coup. Et le moment venu, elle veut qu'on agisse sans que... sans qu'elle ait besoin de le demander tout de suite. Bon, le gars là qui distribuait les journaux, c'était un des gars qui était dans la liste des personnes exécutées. Donc je pense que Arlecchino savait qui c'était. C'est pour ça qu'il lui a donné plus d'argent. Ah, celui Arlecchino ruine anonyme. Ah là. Les ruines qu'on a explorées il y a quelques semaines. Bon. Je pense que de là, on devrait pouvoir accéder sans trop de soucis. Curieux tout ça. Bon. Je pense qu'Arlecchino sait très bien ce qui se passe et... Elle est en train d'essayer d'arranger un peu tout ça à sa manière, d'une certaine façon. Voyons voir jusqu'où cela mène. Par contre, ça lag un petit peu. Hein. Bon, en tout cas, je pense que vraiment le combat n'est vraiment plus très loin. Nous avons juste devant nous... Nous allons dans la région de Lifei, où il est censé y avoir un... Où il est censé y avoir le boss, hein. On est un peu trop proche de la border. Bah voilà. Oui, je sais, Paimon. Les ruines anonymes, elles sont là.
What is this place?
Somewhere long forgotten by everyone. It used to be a grand building. Now it's nothing more than a pile of rubble. No one comes here anymore, nor does anyone care about what once happened here. Although, this place does have something to do with the story I'm about to tell you. It was before I became a harbinger, and before Lyney and the others joined the House of the Hearth. Due to certain events, I first killed Clairvy and then her mother. And this...
You were the one that killed Clairvy?
Désolé, j'ai coupé la parole à Arlecchino au moins 2 fois déjà. Je suis désolé. Pourquoi?
Patience now. Allow me to explain Clairvy's side of the story first. I'll start from the beginning. Clairvy was 6 years old when she was brought by her mother, Crucibina, to live in the House of the Hearth. From the outside, it seemed like a fairy tale. A thriving family made up of kind adults and friendly children. Crucibina was the knave at that time, and the House of the Hearth was under her control. She was Clairvy's mother by blood, but she was also the mother to all the children in the house. Clairvy was happy here, for a time. But she quickly realized that being part of this family wasn't a fairy tale at all. It was a kind of purgatory.
Purgatory?
Exactly. The House of the Hearth takes in war orphans from all over Tevat. But as for how to raise them, that depends entirely on the person in charge. Crucibina came up with a novel idea. She would teach the children to fight, force them to duel each other, and then crown as the king of the house the child who proved themselves most worthy of inheriting her title. It's difficult to estimate the number of children who died or were maimed in the process. There's little I can say about the ones who died. The ones that emerged with permanent injuries, on the other hand, well, they still served a purpose. They would be handed over to the doctor to be experimented on, or sent away on dangerous missions. Nothing more than tools to be used and then discarded.
So those were the experiments Clairvy was talking about. But what actually happened to her? You said that Clairvy was Crucibina's daughter, so if Clairvy tried to convince her to stop what she was doing, Crucibina probably would have listened, right?
Despite being Clairvy's mother, Crucibina cared little for her daughter. She forced Clairvy to join the House of the Hearth only as a means to demonstrate her own impartiality as a mother, to prove that she treated all her children equally. Clairvy did try to convince her mother to change her ways, but It was to no avail. After her efforts failed, the only other option was to rise up and try to fight back. Unfortunately, the other children had already been thoroughly indoctrinated into the illusion of happiness Crucibina had created. Of course, there was one exception. Someone Clairvy's age who knew the truth about the House of the Hearth. Her name was Perouer.
Perry?
Wait, the friend that Clairvy mentioned?
Friend, huh? I suppose we can call her that for now. Clairvy was a cheerful and passionate person with a tenacious spirit. Perouer, on the other hand, was rather cold-blooded. Her cold-blooded nature allowed her to see through Crucibina's facade. Yet, it was also this cold-bloodedness that prevented her from acting against it. At least at first. While Clairvy longed for freedom, Perouer was convinced that, amid all the fighting and violence, she would make it until the end. Despite their differences, the two became fast friends, united by their knowledge of the truth. Clairvy told Perouer that she hoped to create a real family, where no one would be killed or sacrificed. There may have been a certain naivete to her ideas, but Clairvy proved her determination many times over. She tried countless times to run away, ask for help, or expose the truth. But her efforts only earned her beating after beating. The only thing that kept her going was her strength of will. Even with her body racked with pain, she would still stand on her tiptoes and open the window at night. She and Perouer would look out at the moon together, a fierce longing for freedom shining in her eyes. But one day that light simply vanished.
Oh no. What happened?
Her hopelessness resulted from a culmination of things. 10 years had passed. 10 years worth of failure after failure. She and Perouer weren't children anymore, but finding any chance to escape still seemed as hopeless as ever. It was during this time that Perouer suggested a new plan. If escaping was out of the question, why not take down the very person sitting on top of this throne of lies? Mother herself. Clairvy rejected that proposal. She claimed that, as a famous harbinger, Crucibina possessed an unimaginable amount of power. Trying to kill her would have an incredibly low chance of success. Clairvy never gave another reason, but Perouer could see it written all over her face. Clairvy still thought of Crucibina as her mother. Killing her own flesh and blood was a line she couldn't bring herself to cross. If she couldn't escape and fight back, then only one option remained.
La mort.
Precisely. Death was the only way that she felt she could be free. It happened during a duel. When she arrived at the dueling ring that day, her partner turned out to be none other than Perouer, the very person that had stood by her side all those years. It was a fierce battle. But ultimately, Clairvy decided to let Perouer end her life. From that moment on, Perouer's journey was one written in flames. When the rain finally came and washed it all away, there she stood, the sole victor in Mother's endless game of slaughter. A trail of corpses strewn across her path to success. It was the very result she had predicted 10 years prior. Even then, she believed she would make it until the end. She wasn't surprised by the fact that she emerged as Mother's undisputed heir. Rather, her success left her with an inexplicable sense of restlessness. She was unsettled, and there was only one thing that could quell that sensation. Perhaps you two would like to take a guess as to what it was?
Tuer la personne au sommet?
Crucibina, you mean? But...
Correct. This is the place where Perouer killed her best friend, A mere year later, this is also the place where she fought tooth and nail to kill the mother they shared. The moment she acted, any conception of what was right or wrong ceased to matter. It's one of the principles of the house. Only those who survive get to write the rules. Peruere won the battle, and became a harbinger herself. After which Her Majesty, the Tsaritsa, bestowed upon her a new name. Arlecchino.
So the Perry Clairvy was talking about... It was you all along. You're Peruere. Arlecchino is just a name you got later.
Je m'en doutais, hein. C'est ce que j'avais théorisé. Mais bon, c'était votre histoire tout autant que celle de Clairvy.
I left that name behind long ago. I must say, hearing it now does bring back memories. After I defeated Crucibina, the moniker of Mother died with her. I chose to forego the title she called herself, and even chose to give up my own name. I rebuilt the House of the Hearth under a new identity. Not only as Arlecchino, but as father. And that is where the story ends. Any more questions?
Qui est la Clairvy que nous avons rencontrée alors?
Yeah. Based on what you just told us, Clairvy wasn't a little kid when she was killed. So the Clairvy we met... Was she really a spirit at all?
I suppose you could call her an illusion born of flame. Her existence is like ashes to a fire. Something left over in the wake of blaze and ruin. You see, a certain power runs through my veins. It's not unlike a curse. My flames leave behind shadows of anything they consume. Of course, the chances of those shadows morphing into a sentient entity are exceedingly slim. Clairvy is a very special case. Clairvy died when she was 16 years old. But what emerged from the flames was her 6-year-old self. Her appearance wasn't the only thing affected. Most of her memories were lost to the blaze as well. Memory is a mysterious thing indeed. Losing a portion of your memories will alter your sense of self. Lose 10 years' worth, however, and it would be like living in the past. Like returning to a version of yourself that never grew up.
No wonder Paimon got such a weird feeling when we were talking to her.
Perhaps I should put it this way. Clairvy is someone trapped in time. It may seem like she exists with us in the present, but she truly lives in the confines of her own past.
So if all of that is true, then you must have known about Clairvy for a long time.
Indeed. She's a rather volatile and unstable entity. Sometimes she would look after the children. She's even saved some of their lives. But other times, she would hide from me and become obsessed with revealing the truth about the house to anyone who will listen. Shadows don't have the capacity to learn or grow. Any new information they encounter is quickly forgotten over time. Your attempts to expose Clairvy to sunlight. They failed, yes? The reason is actually quite simple. In Clairvy's mind, the house is impossible to escape, and it is this very perception that traps her there. But no matter. All I have to do is kill her again, and all will be resolved. I don't anticipate so much as a single speck of ash will be left behind this time.
Wait! Paimon can understand why you might want her gone, but isn't there another way? So what if she's trapped in her 6-year-old self? She's still your friend! At least talk to her first!
It's too late for that. She broke the rules, and now she must be punished. That goes for Filial and Nentoy as well. She said, I hope you understand. The difference between Crucibina and myself lies in our formulation of the rules, not our policy for enforcing them. Upholding the rules without question is a trait we both share. Because that is how a household should be run.
Is this really what you want to do?
Whatever could you mean?
Don't you want to say a proper goodbye at least?
Whether as a killer or as a father, there are two things that must be avoided at all costs. Anger and sorrow. Anger makes you impulsive. Sorrow causes you to waver. Well, it appears it's about time to proceed. Before we arrived, I told some of my well-behaved children to bring our troublemakers here by nightfall. I do believe I've kept my end of the deal. I gave your friends quite a bit more time. As for what happens now, we'll just have to wait and see.